I had made yet again. It was as if I was living in a nightmare. Everywhere I turned, I saw some grotesquely painted face. It was as though everyone in Manteo High had purposely dressed as some monster from childhood nightmares, forcing the bile and fear to rise to my throat. A creepy clown, Jack the Ripper, a faceless ghost, a masked hockey player with blood-red eyes. The laughter around me grew as I continued to push through the group. I was becoming claustrophobic, needing to escape the pressure of the laughing faces building around me. Groping hands and hideous visages surrounded me as I continued to push the monsters out of my way. But I understood what was happening. I knew. I closed my eyes against the macabre-like scene and moved through the maze of people that had suddenly been placed before me. A blockade, to prevent me from reaching Carolyn as quickly as I would have liked. I drew the inner strength I needed by taking deep, shallow breaths and maneuvered my way through the crowd. When a masked clown or monster drew too close, I would reach out and pull off its disguise, only to find a faceless form staring back at me. Magic. That was all it was. Magic placed before me to impede my advancement. I wanted to scream out, to use my own power to throw off all these obstacles. But I was afraid that my powers would mistakenly hurt a mortal soul. My rage could indeed bring about the demise of innocent life, of every life at the party. And that I would not have. Finally, I reached the bathroom, knowing full well that Carolyn would not be inside waiting. But still, I had hope. I brushed past the drunk partygoers and threw open the door only to find two students making out against the sink. "Sorry," I said as I quickly shut the door, but they didn't seem to be too bothered by the interruption. "Where is Carolyn?" Rowan asked from behind me. His concerned voice broke through my growing fear as I turned to face him, unable to contain the horror that was rising inside of me. "They have her."
Carolyn. Darkness engulfed me. Silence surrounded me. I found new meaning in the words pitch black. Every single one of my senses simply came up empty. I wanted to scream, but there was no point. I knew that no one I needed could hear me. Why do anything to attract more darkness? I told myself. It's best to remain as quiet as possible. Perhaps in silence I could figure out a way to avoid the fate that stood before me. Moments that felt like hours passed. Finally, I could hear the faintest sound of running water, but nothing more than that, and the echo of the deep and quick breaths I took within the confined space. I ran my fingers along what felt like a wall of rocks, but pulled them back, fearing what I might encounter. Closing my eyes, I tried to recount every moment of my evening. I couldn't have been taken far, I thought. Things had happened so quickly, and within what felt like seconds, I had been confined to my dark new home. But knowing its occupants' cunning and powers, it was very likely that more time had passed. "Focus, Carolyn," I warned myself, "or you'll go crazy." We had to be underground because there was limited oxygen, and I felt myself struggling for every single breath. I untied the top layer of my costume. I wanted my movements to be as free as possible for the inevitable war that was sure to come. I wasn't going to go down without a fight, and a fight of some kind was inevitable. I wouldn't last long here, that much I knew, but I also knew that they wouldn't allow a quick, swift death. Much more was in store for me. They had been plotting my demise for so long, they would relish every moment of it. The Dark Fae were cunning. They had placed me in this prison to drain my energy, weaken me, so that I wouldn't stand a chance. I would be putty in their hands, and I would surely crumble. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. I wouldn't. I would never allow him or any member of his clan to see my fear. Reaching up for the dark walls again, I slowly felt my way across their stony surface. The walls were damp, and the air was humid. This, coupled with the dripping sound of water, meant that I had to be near